If you are watching this presentation, you are probably either a Tier 4 student gathering more information on how to complete your large animal and lab animal clinical task, you are maybe a prospective student looking for additional information on how our program works, or you are just a little curious about what the Fast Track Labs are and where they fit into our program. This presentation is meant to provide our upper-level students with more information about what Fast Track Labs are and what they can expect, and when and if they will be something that they may need to plan on for future semesters. So what exactly are Fast Track Labs? Fast Track Labs provide the opportunity for our Tier 4 students to complete their hands-on required clinical task for courses such as VETT 233, which is Large Animal Clinical Assisting, and VETT 231 or 235, depending on your degree plan, which is Laboratory Animal Diseases and Medical Care. We recognize that many of our students are not in areas where species such as cattle or horses are common. It can sometimes be difficult for many to gain the necessary clinical skills needed to work with these types of species. It can also be difficult to acquire some of the laboratory animals or rodent species for the clinical tasks that are needed for the laboratory animal course. Our goal through these labs is to provide students enrolled in these courses a chance to spend some time with each species and gain additional knowledge and hands-on experience with each of the various large animal species as well as the laboratory animal species. One of the most common questions is, where are Fast Track Labs held? Fast Track Labs are currently held at Highlander Ranch, which is part of McLennan Community College in Waco, Texas. These labs exist due to a partnership between San Juan College and McLennan Community College Veterinary Technology programs. During labs, it is possible that we have students in attendance that have traveled from the East Coast and the West Coast, as well as several states in between. Students may be arriving from many different states and types of veterinary hospitals, so it's really interesting to get everyone working together in the same environment for a few days. While Waco, Texas may seem like an odd location, many times it is a central location for students that are traveling to the campus for labs. Another reason why this facility was selected is that everything that is needed for labs is in one location. As this facility houses an established AVMA accredited on-site veterinary technology program, all equipment and required species are available and easily accessible. This enables us to complete all required hands-on clinical tasks with these species in a matter of a few days. Another common question regarding Fast Track Labs is, when are the Fast Track Labs scheduled? At this time, Fast Track Labs are available and held during the fall, the spring, and the summer semesters. Students participating in each lab are students that are enrolled in VETT 233 and VETT 231 or 235 during that semester. As we work with the Veterinary Technology program at McLennan Community College, we schedule lab dates to best work with their schedule of their on-site program. This is why we may not know the exact dates of lab until the beginning of the semester in which you were enrolled. We do normally try to schedule labs during weeks 4 through 8. The written section of the courses is designed so that we are going to cover many of the species we will be working with during labs, also the safety and also the restraint techniques that you are going to use in labs at the beginning of the semester. This way, once you get to labs, you should have already covered the written material and be familiar with important terms, also equipment, basic husbandry, and anatomy of these species. The official lab dates are usually known by the beginning of each semester only for that semester. If you are enrolled in VETT 233 or 231 or 235 for that semester, please notify your course instructor by the end of week 1 if you plan on attending Fast Track Labs so that they can provide you with exact lab dates and other important information. The McLennan Community College Veterinary Technology program is located at Highlander Ranch just outside of Waco, Texas. While at Fast Track Labs, our students will spend the majority of their time in and around the veterinary technology facilities, including the surgery room and the patient exam area where we will spend time for instruction, and also laboratory animal labs. We will then venture outside to the pastures and cattle chutes for our bovine clinical task, and inside to the equine lab for equine clinical task and other large animal instruction. Also available to us at the facilities are large animal anesthesia and radiology equipment, as well as the classroom where we will review anatomical structures of both cows and horses with the use of preserved specimens, and also articulated and disarticulated models of various skeletal structures. This lab will also typically include a time where we perform diagnostic tests on the blood and the fecal samples that were collected from our large animal patients during labs. This will provide those that are not typically around cattle and horses an opportunity to look at blood smears and fecal samples of each of these species. Now, while many of our students do not end up in research facility, in almost every lab there are students that routinely see one, most, or all of the species that we cover during lab animal labs. As Fast Track Labs are strategically placed at the right time in your course, by the time a student reaches the labs, they have been introduced to restraint techniques, physical exam techniques, husbandry and nutrition, and basic disease processes. This lab is intended to provide the opportunity to practice and complete the laboratory animal and small exotic clinical skills requirements. Performed tasks within this lab include basic physical exams, handling and restraint, husbandry, IM, sub-Q, and IV injection techniques, as well as the various routes of fluid administration. We will also discuss and review anesthetic protocols, induction, and anesthetic recovery techniques. If you have never handled rodents, this is a good chance for you to overcome your fears and reservations of working with these small furry little critters and handling species such as mice and rats. Lab animal labs not only include rodent species such as mice and rats, but they also include guinea pigs, rabbits, as well as a review of restraint and handling of avian species. We also discuss basic diagnostic techniques such as radiography and patient positioning, as well as restraint for radiographic and diagnostic procedures. Lab animal labs also include administering medications and fluids by oral dosing, injections, administering ophthalmic and otic medications, common signs and symptoms of various disease processes, basic dental care, and also signs of dental abnormalities. We also look at various dental problems that can occur with open-rooted teeth of some of the rodent species. This portion of the lab also reviews the importance of proper restraint and handling of rabbits, as well as the dietary and nutritional requirements of both rabbits and guinea pigs. In order to help ensure the safety of our students, instructors will demonstrate and walk and talk everyone through all the tasks that will be performed, explaining safety and precautions before students begin attempting each task. This includes acclimating everyone to the squeeze chute and how it operates, the importance of being aware of your surroundings at all times, and also the importance of making sure gates are properly secured. Tasks completed in this lab include head restraint, physical exams, a review of basic anatomy of cattle, venipuncture to collect blood samples and administer IV injections, the use and importance of both sub-Q and IM injections in cattle, the collection of fecal samples, common vaccine protocols and animal care techniques, as well as placement of the Frick speculum and the orogastric tube, and the administration of oral medications. This lab also reviews basic husbandry and nutrition of cattle. Depending on the time of year, this lab can be pretty messy, so students are encouraged to dress in layers to accommodate for the changing temperatures and weather during the day. Everyone should come prepared and expect to get a little bit dirty during this lab. Most students wear boots or comfortable closed-toed shoes. For your safety, neither flip-flops nor open-toed shoes are allowed during this lab. There are many components to the equine labs. Some of the components are lecture-based with hands-on examples, while other tasks are demonstrated and then performed by each student. As this is a facility that houses several different types of animals, various types of feed are available and a nutrition and feeds and feeding review is completed along with proper stall care and maintenance. Also, before we ever bring a horse in for labs, we once again begin with safety and a review of restraint. This includes a basic knot tying lab where we review the types of knots introduced in your course material and practice securing and releasing those different types of knots before a live animal is at the end of the lead rope. We also take time to review how to properly place a horse halter and the techniques for securing that halter. Before the horses are brought into the lab area, the horse stocks or stanchions are also reviewed, as well as how to safely and properly lead a horse into the stanchion area and secure the horse within the stanchion. This lab also includes basic grooming techniques, demonstration of various types of husbandry and animal care techniques common to things such as breeding and reproduction. We also discuss and perform basic physical exams, fecal sample collection, lameness exams, a review of anatomy, particularly of the foot, the fetlock, and the knee joints, as well as a large animal radiology review and techniques used to radiograph equine hooves and joints with the use of a portable X-ray machine. This lab also includes hands-on tasks focused on care and handling of the equine foot, including techniques to properly clean and examine the hoof, as well as various bandaging techniques that may be used on equine patients. The equine lab also includes venipuncture for collection of blood samples and also IV administration of medications and the proper placement of jugular catheters. Students also practice administering subcutaneous and IM injections. Fecal and blood samples are randomly collected from patients throughout our time during the lab, and they are then saved for a laboratory skills and ClinPath section of lab, where students have the opportunity to prepare and read blood smears as well as check fecal samples for the presence of large animal intestinal parasites. Once again, we recommend that during this portion of the lab, students wear boots or comfortable closed-toed shoes. For your safety, neither flip-flops nor open-toed shoes are allowed in the equine labs. Now that we have discussed what is covered with each section of the lab and also reviewed the location of labs and the fact that students do come to labs from all over the country, so why do students typically choose the Fast Track Lab over completing the task at a facility near them? The biggest reason for many is basically convenience. Not only does it prevent them from having to record and submit an additional video, it also allows a student to complete all clinical tasks for VETT 233 and 231 or 235 at one time. The labs also provide a great learning environment where you can learn and practice each of the tasks and techniques hands-on. These labs provide a lot of hands-on experience. Fast Track Labs also provide a chance for you to spend a few days working with your classmates that you have probably been in class with for several semesters, sometimes even a couple of years, and you may have gotten to know these individuals through your discussion board assignments and various online organizations such as VSPN, NAVTA, and the San Juan College Veterinary Technology Distance Learning Program Facebook sites. It also provides an opportunity to work with some of your San Juan College instructors for a few days, and for us, honestly, getting to work with all of you during Fast Track Labs is often the highlight of our semester. Over the years, we have worked with many different Fast Track Lab groups. Most of them come in just a little bit nervous, however, they leave with a renewed confidence in their skills and also their level of knowledge. Lab groups also usually form connections and support systems with one another, as labs normally fall right before everyone graduates and are preparing to sit for their state and national board exams. I've seen many lab groups almost form a support system, study groups, or simply share study tips as each one prepares to complete their VT&E. As you can see at this point, most of our labs are fairly small, which allows the instructors that work with the labs to spend time with each student during labs as we work through each of the required clinical tasks. I wanted to take a minute to cover some of the additional questions that students commonly have regarding Fast Track Labs. At this time, there is not currently a charge or fee to attend the Fast Track Labs for our enrolled VETT 233 and 231 or 235 students. However, students are responsible for their own transportation to labs, which sometimes that can include flight arrangements, as well as lodging and meals. If you are staying at the same or nearby hotel as the instructors, many of us do carpool to and from the school together from the hotel each morning and then back to the hotel in the afternoon. If you are planning on attending the Fast Track Labs the semester that you are enrolled for the course for the Large Animal Assisting or the Laboratory Animal course, please notify your instructor by the end of week 1. This will help us ensure that we have the correct number of animals reserved to fulfill lab requirements. If you should need exact lab dates before making travel arrangements or requesting the time off from your hospital, your instructor should have those ready for you by the beginning of the semester in which you are enrolled in the courses requiring the Fast Track Lab tasks. Our reservations for Fast Track Labs are typically not verified until the beginning of each semester, so that's why it is important to not make your travel arrangements until the semester that you will be enrolled in those courses. If you have additional questions that were not covered during this presentation, please contact your course instructor. So how exactly can you get the most out of your Fast Track Labs? The Fast Track Labs are typically completed in about 2.5 days, depending on the size of the lab group and the level of knowledge and previous experience with large animals and laboratory animal species. It is best to come to lab prepared. Make sure that you are current on your reading assignments and coursework in those courses, as many of the topics covered in the beginning of these courses are there to help better prepare you for your labs. Also, make sure that you dress appropriately for labs. Many wear jeans and a scrub shirt and boots or comfortable closed-toed shoes for labs. Remember, no flip-flops or open-toed shoes when working with cows or horses. This is just meant to protect your feet and toes during these large animal labs. Depending on the time of year, make sure that you check the Waco weather forecast so that you are prepared for the changing weather. We typically begin working early in the morning and finish for the afternoon around 3:30 or 4 o'clock p.m., so temperatures may change from the time we begin working at 7:45 or 8 o'clock in the morning until the afternoon temperatures. In addition to being prepared by making sure that you have completed your assignments up to the point of labs, make sure that you print your course test checklist and bring that with you to labs. After you have completed the clinical task, you and your instructor will sign off on the course test checklist, and we will return those to main campus for you upon the completion of labs. While we do have stethoscopes and all equipment available for use that we need for labs, many students do bring their own stethoscopes and also a pen or pencil along with something basic for note-taking. Now, during the actual physical part of labs for the cows and the horses, it may not be possible to take notes, but we also have lecture portions during the labs, and some prefer to take notes during those sections. Finally, some of the most important things to bring with you to labs is an open mind, a great attitude, and a willingness to work. We understand that working with cows or horses is a completely new experience for many of those attending labs. In fact, many handle the cows and horses just fine. It's those tiny little mice that sometimes present the biggest challenge. If you are a little apprehensive or nervous about working with the large animals, you're probably not alone. As long as you come with a willingness to learn and work towards completing your goals and your task, we will do our best to help labs be the best learning experience possible. Many students are concerned about being able to find the time in their schedules to attend the Fast Track Labs and ask if there is an alternative. We do offer an alternative to attending Fast Track Labs. If you elect to complete the large animal and laboratory animal clinical skills with a preceptor, then you will need to have a large animal OCCI site approved. The specific list of large animal equipment required at a large animal facility, as well as the documents needed to approve a large animal facility, are located in the San Juan College Veterinary Technology Distance Learning Program website. One of the biggest requirements is that your selected large animal facility is one that completes large animal work on site and not out in the field. This means that that facility needs to have a permanent cattle chute as well as horse stanchion located within the facility. You will also need to have access to working with cattle and horses for the large animal clinical tasks. Each preceptor that you are going to be using at the large animal site must also be approved with your OCCI site. Another requirement for using the alternative of completing your task at your facility or a facility near you is that there is a video required to document the completion of all large animal assisting and laboratory animal clinical skills. You will still be required to complete all of the clinical skills that we will cover in labs. However, a video must be submitted by the end of the semester in which you are enrolled in the course, verifying your ability to complete each of the required clinical tasks. For the lab animal course, you are not required to work in a lab animal facility, and many of the small animal facilities and preceptors do apply. However, you must have access to mice, rats, guinea pigs, rabbits, and general avian species. While most students initially attend the fast track labs for only their large animal task, they usually do also elect to complete the lab animal task while they're in labs instead of having to obtain the various species and also work through filming a video assignment. If you need additional information regarding the specific video assignment requirements for the fast track alternative, please contact your course instructor.